Well, hello, all you beautiful people, and thank you for tuning in to Girl What. I'm your host for the day, Mariah. Sarah is currently busy right now, so I am doing a solo cast, and then we are going to be recording our usual podcast tomorrow. So, when my podcast, my solo cast, will go up versus when our regular podcast goes up, I don't know. But that being said, I had my computer out. I always have a list of things on my mind that I consider hot takes. And so I figured that I would just do a little pop on solo expedition here with you guys, my very first one, so that I could let go, talk about some of my hot takes, see if you guys agree with me or if you don't. That's the beauty of a hot take. It's my opinion, and if you agree with it, great. If you don't, cool. So yeah, I'm just gonna chat with myself on here, I guess. And I'm just gonna talk about some of my hot takes that I have that I'm very excited actually to let out into the open, although I have not been shy before with making them known. But now a wider audience will know about them. So my first one, and it's one that has been very, very prevalent as of recent, specifically the past 2 to 3 years. I absolutely despise Timothy Chalamet. And I know that just me saying that could get me canceled if I was a actual person of any influence. But since I'm not, I'm saying it loud and proud. I do not like him one bit. I don't specifically know what it is. Maybe it's the fact that he looks like the rat from Flushed Away. Maybe it's the fact that everybody seems to just orgasm when they see him, and I don't understand. But I cannot stand him. That being said, I do acknowledge that I have not seen him act in anything apart from Call Me by Your Name, and I had to stop that movie halfway through because I could not get over his acting. I think it was Army Hammer. I loved him in it. I just could not get behind Timpani Chandelier. I like I said, this could get me canceled if I was anybody of any influence. Um, and so many people disagree with me. I know. Sorry to everybody who does, but I just do not see any redeeming quality of that guy. That being said, I do not understand also how he is dating somebody like Kylie Jenner. I've said this before to a number of my friends. I really feel like the dynamic of him and Kylie Jenner dating is like that super nerdy boy in high school paying the rich popular cheerleader to go out with him so that he can get some street cred. That's what I'm feeling from that. That's the only thing that I'm feeling from that. And I I can't really explain it any further. It just seems like it's just a wrong pairing. And okay, that can come off as being like very judgmental and very like vain or vapid or whatever. Like me saying that, like, oh, two people of like similar looks have to date each other. Like, you can't date anybody who looks, quote unquote worse than you or quote unquote better than you. It's like, I understand that that sounds bad, but just the traditional standards that have been placed on dating and like looks indicate that that's just not a pair that would fit together, and that's what's just implanted itself into my brain, and I know that that's problematic. So I'm acknowledging that, and I'm sorry about that, but I just can't get it on my brain, and I hope that at least some of you listening understand and feel me on that. I do not wish anything bad to happen to him. I don't wish anything bad to happen to really anybody. But I just wish that he wouldn't be as popular as he was. Because it makes no sense why he is. So, yeah. Well, I will say the one thing I like about him is the fact that I can John Travolta his name any way I want and it always sounds funny. Like tuna fish Chardonnay. Like it's so fun to do. Um, so yeah, you have that going for you, Timothy. There you go. So that's my first hot take. My second hot take, I know I am in the vast minority of people here, and I can almost see the red dot on my forehead of the sniper outside my window waiting to shoot me when I say this. But the movie Hocus Pocus is not that great. Mic drop, I said it. I have no idea, aside from the cast, why that movie is so fucking loved and revered and just uh, I don't get it. I really don't. Yes, Bette Midler, Kathy Najimy, Sarah Jessica Parker, fucking I can't think of anybody else at this point because I'm just like pulling this out of my brain willy-nilly, but like yes, the three Sanderson sisters, the cast that they got for that, phenomenal. Amazing women, all awesome. Love them all. And don't get me wrong, Halloween is my absolute favorite holiday. I wish that holiday got as much hype as like Christmas did because that's another one of my hot takes. Christmas isn't that great at all. Halloween is the best. Fight me if you think otherwise. Meet me outside. But yeah, apart from it having a stacked cast and it being a Halloween movie, I really don't understand what's so great about it. I have tried and tried so many times over the years to understand what people see in it. I have watched it multiple times, just trying to make myself like it as much as everybody else, and I can't. Like, I'm not saying it's a horrible movie. Like, there are some parts that I enjoy. Like, it's good, but it's not like the end all be all Halloween movie. It doesn't deserve like hordes and troves of merch and fangirls and shit that it gets. I don't understand it at all. But yeah, Hocus Pocus is just okay, in my opinion. Great cast, subpar movie. Please don't shoot me. These are hot takes, people. Like these are just my opinions. Please don't come for me. Um I'm kind of just gonna be like jumping all over the place here. I have a list of stuff written down, but most of my hot takes are probably gonna be about like pop culture and like entertainment, because I really can't think of many other things, like other topics, where I have like super hot takes or like super unpopular opinions. Maybe some will come to me while I'm ranting and raving here. But my next one is kind of a funny one, kind of a silly, like not serious one. But I I love cake. Clearly, look at me. I'm a thick bit. I love cake. But I am not a simp for buttercream frosting or like cream cheese frosting like everybody else is. I think that that stuff is so sickly sweet and just thick and it coats your mouth in the most disgusting way. Like I feel like after every bite I need to drink like a water bottle of water just to like get the feeling out. And yeah, it's like I said, it's so heavy and way too overly sweet and way too overly hyped. When people are like, oh, the only kind of frosting I like is buttercream, I'm like, you need to reevaluate your life because whipped topping is the elite, ultimate goat of cake toppings. And nobody can ever change my mind otherwise. It's lighter, it's not as sickly sweet. It's just got that like perfect little mouth feel. Like I don't feel like I have just walked 5 miles through the Sahara Desert and I need to drink an entire lake full of water to get some sustenance. Yeah, whipped topping is simply superior to any other sort of cake topping or cake frosting. And I will not ever be convinced otherwise. It's just the best. That being said, going off of the cake thing, ice cream cake sucks. Yeah. Yeah. I think everybody needs to come to terms with the fact that ice cream cake is just not that great. What about cake makes you think, ah, yes, let me just take a fucking chunk out of this snowbank right here and then get brain freeze all in one bite? Like, what? How does that make sense? Cake is soft and delicious and room temp. Why are you mixing like the temperature thing is really, it makes no sense because people eat like cold and warm things together all the time. I'm sure, like, I can't think of a specific example right now, but like, I'm kind of just talking in circles because, well, I have no one to bounce things off of right now. So, but yeah, I just don't understand ice cream cake. It just, I think it's a texture thing for me. Maybe it's just a texture and a temperature thing. I don't, maybe it, I don't know. But yeah, like the cold and the sliminess of and the wetness. I think it's actually because like I'm a huge texture person when I'm eating. Like it took me until I was like in my early to mid 20s before I let food touch on my plate without like not like leaving it and not eating it. Like I'm still a little ugh about it. Like for the most part, I'm like 85 to 90% okay with like my foods touching. Like I'm good with that now. I've come to terms with that. I've gotten through the whatever deep-seated trauma I have about that. I've gotten through it. But I think the ice cream cake thing, yeah, is just like a cake texture mixing with an ice cream texture in my mouth. It just feels weird and wrong. And that's the same reason why I cannot take a drink of water until I have fully finished and swallowed a bite of food, no matter what it is. And I know that that's strange, but it's just, and I also know that I'm going on like two or three different tangents right now, and I apologize, but I really think I have like undiagnosed ADHD or something. Who knows? But yeah. Well, I just burned through like three different topics in like a span of like 2 minutes. Oh man. Well, that was one of my silly little food hot takes. Um, Another one, I guess, kind of bouncing off of the last one with the ice cream cake thing is, you know how most people's like the vast majority of like Americans, like stereotypical Americans, of like if you ask them, "Hey, what's your favorite food? What's your favorite dessert?" A vast majority of them, I'm sure, will say pizza or ice cream. Two things that I just don't like, really. I will eat them. I won't vomit when I eat them, but they're probably the last things that I will choose a lot of the time. Like, if I'm given the option of, I don't know, like seven different food options, like if we're going out to eat, like if I'm given like, oh, McDonald's, Subway, KFC, Chinese, blah, 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 pizza, that will be at the very bottom of the list almost always. For some reason, there's just, I get these hankerings every once in a blue moon for a slice of pizza, but it has to be very specific. I do not like red sauce that much. And if I do have red sauce, it has to be extremely light. I am not a sauce person. I'm not a red sauce person. If there is too much sauce on a pizza, it makes me. So if I ever do get a hankering for pizza, it has to be a very, very specific type of pizza, usually with some sort of white sauce and a lot of cheese, and it's got to be very specific. So I think that's another reason why I don't like pizza that much, and it's because there's only like one or two places or like one or two kinds of pizza that I actually have ever like really loved. So yeah, it's probably like the last thing I would ever choose to eat on the daily. And also ice cream. I just can't get behind ice cream. I I don't really understand why there again, it's like pizza and where I'll have certain moments where I'll be like, "Yes, absolutely. Ice cream sounds like the best thing in the world right now." But again, only specific kinds of ice cream. Like I'm weird. I love actually vanilla ice cream, just plain vanilla. When I eat ice cream, I love plain vanilla ice cream. I like mint chocolate chip and I like peanut butter chocolate, but only if it's a certain kind of peanut butter chocolate. I This is making me sound like I am the pickiest bitch on earth, and I'm so sorry. Actually, no. You know what? I'm not sorry because here at Girl What, we don't judge. And I'm not judging you, so you don't judge me, please. I can't take it. I'm fragile. But yeah, anyway, so I don't like pizza that much. I don't like ice cream that much. I'm weird and I know it. But yeah. Okay, this one. Okay, actually, I'm gonna save that one for a little bit later because that one I think also would be. I know that it's a very, very, very unpopular opinion, so I'm gonna save that. My next one is actually probably like the least, it's like a lukewarm take, if that. Um, and it's that Crocs are amazing. Crocs are like an elite shoe. And I'm sorry if you have never had the joy and the pleasure of putting on a pair of Crocs and having your world absolutely fucking rocked. That is very sad, and I wish that in the future that will happen to you because Crocs are just elite. They are so comfy. They're like an all-around shoe. Like obviously I'm not saying that you should go out to a fancy dinner with your partner or your friends or go out to a nice bar for drinks wearing a pair of Crocs. That's not what I'm saying. And I think that's what people think I say, or I think that's what people think I mean when I say that like Crocs are like an amazing shoe. They think that like I would wear them in every single scenario of my life. Like obviously not. I am a comfort driven person. I like to be comfy like all the time except for when I literally can't. So when I'm at home, I have, let's see, I have one, two, three, I have three pairs of slipper Crocs that I interchange when I'm at home. And then I have just like two or three pairs of just like regular classic clogs that I can just throw on when I want to go like run an errand, if I have to go to the grocery store, or like if I'm just going to the gas station or something. Like they're so nice and easy and simple and comfy to run around in and just do your daily activities. They make so many different varieties of Crocs for so many different things. Like they make Crocs sneakers, they make Crocs sandals. And honestly, like what is so wrong about being comfy? Answer me that. And I know a lot of people's argument will be, oh, Crocs are ugly. Oh, those are the ugliest type of shoe. Oh my God, gross. It's like, okay, would you rather be comfy for the rest of your life or would you rather look amazing for the rest of your life? Spoiler alert, you're not going to look amazing for the rest of your life anyway, even if you were dressed head to toe in Louis Vuitton and you had a makeup artist and a hairstylist on fucking deck every day of your life. You're not going to look great forever. So you might as well feel comfortable forever or as long as you possibly can. That's my justification for that. That's getting a little wild and crazy, but still. Yeah, everybody needs a pair of Crocs in their life. Like, would you rather take like 2 seconds to throw on a pair of Crocs, like jump into a pair of Crocs and then head out the door when you're running late? Or would you rather have to be running late, run to the door, and realize, shit, I have to put on my fucking sneakers, and then spend 700 years lacing yourself up into your fucking sneakers. And like, even sneakers that like are pre-laced and you can just slip your foot into, that still takes longer than putting on a pair of Crocs, and you cannot convince me otherwise. Plus, Crocs can be flipped into 4x4 mode. They can be flipped into sport mode for when you really need to just like kick it into high gear. So not only are they made for lounging, they are made for for getting down and dirty. And they make Croc boots for that. So I rest my case. Crocs are elite. I wore Crocs at my wedding. Come at me. I mean, you couldn't even see them under my dress, so I don't really even know why I wore them. I literally could have been barefoot and nobody would have noticed anyway. But oh yeah, that's right. I did it for comfort. Comfort. Crocs are the best. I will go to my grave arguing that Crocs are just an amazing shoe. Everybody get a pair of Crocs. Crocs sponsor me, please. Pretty please. Send me Crocs. Okay. I I only made a short list on my phone, so like I looked up some like popular like pop culture takes from the internet and some of them I actually really agree with, and so I'm going to talk about them. And there's one that I saw that I was like, "Oh my God. Finally somebody said this. Finally somebody brought this to light." The movie Tangled is so much better than Frozen and like arguably most Disney movies that came after that. Tangled is so much better than those, and it did not nearly get as much hype as Frozen did, and that is a travesty. Because, like, I understand that Disney wanted, like, a very, like, non-romance centric, girl power, platonic love kind of movie, and whatever. But I don't know. Like, one can argue that Tangled is Tangled has got a powerful female lead that does not need a man. Rapunzel can take care of herself just fine, and she was taking care of herself just fine for 18 years. It's only because of the fact that her godmother had her locked up in there that she couldn't leave. But like Homegirl, she knew how to handle a frying pan. She could do anything. She could literally choke you out with her hair. She could hang you with her hair. She could literally kill you in so many different ways with her hair. And she had 18 years to practice doing that. So, or was it 16? I can't really remember. I haven't seen Tangled in a while, but I digress. Um, yeah, and the I would like to argue that I think there were more songs in Frozen. I'm not quite sure, but the music in Tangled was far superior to Frozen. Like, I see the light and the scene that accompanies that when Flynn and Rapunzel are on like the lake or the river, floating in that boat with a beautiful lantern surrounding them, and Flynn is just looking at her with just so much love in his eyes while she's marveling at the beauty of these lanterns in the sky, and he all he can focus on is her. It's so beautiful, and the music that accompanies it is just it's perfect. They picked the perfect song for the perfect point in the film. It's honestly, to this day, one of the Disney songs that I love singing. Even if I'm sorry if also if you can hear me swallowing. I just got a new podcasting mic and I have not I've tested it, but like I don't know how it's like fully gonna sound when I'm talking a lot. So pardon me if you can hear me swallowing. I'm sure it's really gross and ooh, now I'm self-conscious. But anyway, yeah. So I see the light. The first song she sings, and the 7 a.m. the usual morning lineup. That one, it's so good. And the I Have a Dream song, Mother Gothel, and her like big song Mother Knows Best. She sang the house down boots. I believe it was Donna Murphy who voiced Mother Gothel, both talking and singing. Iconic. She is phenomenal, and like I don't think anybody could have played a better Mother Gothel than Donna Murphy. Broadway queen, amazing. And then Mandy Moore, we already knew that Mandy Moore was a phenomenal singer, a diva, love her. But then we get Mr. Zachary Levi and his amazing set of pipes. for Flynn. It perfect. Absolutely perfect. Oh my gosh. I am so sorry to be going off on this little tangent, but I just got so angry because I remembered that a while ago, maybe like 2 or 3 months ago, I saw a article on the internet somewhere. I can't remember where, but it said that timpani chandelier was one of the options to play Flynn motherfucking Rider in a live action Tangled. And you want to know what I did when I saw that? I almost threw up in my mouth. The fact that these people are literally putting Rat Boy from Flushed Away in the same vein as Flynn Rider, i.e. Eugene Fitzherbert, the most amazing Disney man, apart from Shang from Mulan, my favorite. But the fact that they are even putting those two in like the same sentence, in the same realm, is so unbelievably just offensive to me. Not only does he not look the part, but he cannot bring that much charisma. He cannot bring that much just unbridled, uh, just charm to that. He could never, and I don't understand what got in whoever's head where they were like, Flynn Rider, yeah, Timothy Chalamet, for sure. No, please reevaluate your life. Go back to school and learn what you're doing. Like, you clearly don't need to be in the casting business because you're doing everything wrong. Anyway, yeah. And like the song Let It Go, I personally think is literally like one of the biggest reasons why Frozen got as big as it did, and it makes no sense to me why it did. Yes, it's an earworm in like the worst way. Like, if you hear it, you find yourself humming it, then you find yourself singing it, and then you can't get it out of your head for the rest of the fucking day. Disney just wanted to make a really catchy song that kids would hear and be like, "Oh my God," and then they would make their parents buy all the fucking merch. And yeah, I don't know. The plot was super convoluted. It had a lot of inconsistencies. The way that Tangled got absolutely just pushed under the bus because Frozen came around is so just despicable to me. Like, Anna and Elsa don't have like nearly as good of a relationship as like Eugene and Rapunzel do. And the villain in Frozen, Hans, he's literally there just for like a little bit of shock value at the end. Like, I realize that him saying like, "Oh, Anna," right? Yeah, "Oh, Anna, if only anybody ever loved you." Like, yes, that was like a, oh my gosh, but also like up until that point there hadn't really been like a clear villain, so like you kind of had to see that kind of coming. Yeah, and also I just Hans Hans barely got any screen time too, which really was detrimental for his character and really detrimental for, I think, the formation of his villain arc. So, like, he got like barely any screen time. The screen time that he did have, he was presented as this like perfect, amazing like match for Anna. And then at the end, they're like, "Oh, by the way, he's a bad guy." Anyway, movie's over. He got like 3 minutes of just being this horrible bad guy, and then fucking Elsa or Anna or Olaf, I don't know, whoever saved the day, and then the movie was over. So it was kind of just like, it was kind of, there wasn't really much build up, and then it was all at once, and then it just died off. If you know what I'm saying. Like, whereas throughout Tangled, there is a very clear villain from the beginning. They let you know at the beginning that, hey, Mother Gothel is a bitch and she should not be trusted. But the fact that Rapunzel doesn't know that and she's in the dark is like, it's super interesting. And it's like, oh my gosh, like the audience knows something that the lead doesn't know. Oh my gosh, this is crazy. And Yeah, I just feel like it's way more of an interesting story that way. Plus we got so much of Mother Gothel and she had such a better like a much more well flushed out storyline as far as her like villain arc goes. And yeah, so that's my thing with the whole Tangled Frozen thing. I think Tangled was far better than Frozen in almost every way, and I really feel like it should be getting the hype that Frozen is getting, and it should have gotten two or three spin-offs or however many we're up to now. I don't know. I still haven't seen the second Frozen because I just don't care. And am I gonna go watch the third one because of course there's a fucking third one in the production? No, I'm not. Why would I? If I didn't necessarily like the first one and I didn't see the second, why would I go see the third? Man, Frozen is ridiculous. Anyway, moving on. This one is kind of a funny one, and honestly, I have thought this for a really long time, but I haven't said anything about it because I was afraid that people would be like, "What? You're crazy. Get out of here." And it's that in Shrek 2, at the very end, I know that like 90% of you guys are already gonna know what I'm gonna say, probably. When Fairy Godmother sings Holding Out for a Hero by Bonnie Tyler, her performance, I think, is so much better than the original version by Bonnie Tyler. And her voice, I don't know who the voice actress is for Fairy Godmother. I can't think of it right at this moment, but my brain is not gonna it's not gonna let me go on until I look it up. So look it up with me. Who voices Fairy Godmother in Shrek? Jennifer Saunders. My lovely dear Jennifer Saunders, your voice was made to sing Holding Out for a Hero. It's so good. Her tone is so rich and just beautiful and silky, and she can get down and gritty when she wants to. I don't know. There's just something about Fairy Godmother's version of that song that just scratches every itch in my brain and just makes me feel all good inside. Not saying that Bonnie Tyler's version is bad or that Bonnie Tyler's original piece is bad because it's not. Like Bonnie Tyler also has an amazing voice, but there's just something about Jennifer Saunders like the smoothness and the clarity to her tone that just fits that song so well. That's another one of my hot takes. I really want to know who agrees with me on that. I feel like a lot of people will, but like I said, I've been too scared to say anything about it in the past. Just because I'm like, oh, what if they don't agree? Let's see. This one says Brendan Fraser is the most attractive celebrity of the 21st century. And, high key, I'm gonna have to agree with that because the whole being that he looked the way he did when he did the Mummy movies and like George of the Jungle and stuff like that, and the fact that he has, gasp, aged and has gone through shit in his life, probably more shit than a lot of people have gone through, and he's had a rough time, for the past like 5, 10, 15 years, however long of a break he took. But the fact that he has finally come back into the spotlight and has just delivered banger after banger of a performance. Like, if you saw The Whale and you did not feel anything, I'm convinced that you are Satan and you have no emotions and you are just not a human. Because that movie, I'm not just saying this because I love Brendan Fraser more than life, but that movie was phenomenal. The acting, not just from him, but Sadie Sink and from, oh my God, I can't remember his caretaker's name right now, but there were only like five, I think, five actors total who like had screen time in that movie. And they all did phenomenally well. Like it was such a heart-wrenching movie. It was such a powerful, deep movie. He, for his first like big performance since he left the acting scene all those years ago, it was I'm like speechless. He could not have chosen something more suited for him, and he could not have chosen something better. Like, I The Whale is honestly, it's become one of my favorite movies that I've ever seen. And again, that's not because I am a super fan of Brendan Fraser. Also, people, it's Fraser, not Frasier. I know that because I spent the majority of my life saying Frasier, but I found out that it was Fraser. And so now whenever I hear anybody say Frasier, it just like it makes my neck do a little like twitch. My eye twitches, and so yeah, Brendan Fraser. Like razor, but with an F. Anyway, the fact that he looked the way he did back when he did The Mummy and like George of the Jungle, and he was like this beautiful, beautiful sculptured, like delicious man, and the fact that he looks the way he does now is a little bit jarring to people. And it's like, what do you expect? Did you expect him to stay fucking George of the Jungle forever? Like, no, he's gonna age. Like, he's not gonna be a spring chicken forever. And like, the fact that he did The Whale immediately after coming out of like quasi retirement. I mean, in that movie, he had to play a morbidly obese man who's like balding, and so like he's not gonna look like a sculpted Greek god for that. Like, he is at the healthiest point in his life that he's been at for the past, I would say, 10 to 15 years. And I'm so happy because you can see every time you look at him that he looks content and he looks happy and he looks at peace with himself. And I think that that's honestly, this might sound cheesy and I don't care because it's how I feel. That is one of the most attractive qualities that anyone can have, is when you are happy and content with yourself and you don't care what other people think. I think that's an extremely attractive quality. Also, I'll say it, I still think he's visually like super attractive. Like, yes, his hair is thinning. What man after the age of like 30 doesn't have some part of their hair that is thinning? Like, oh my God, he should just be shot on sight because his hair is thinning. No, like, get rid of that stigma. Like, most people, like, a lot of men look better bald. I'll say it right here. Or like with like very short hair. Um, yeah. It's like, yeah, his hair might be thinning. Yeah, he might like have a few extra pounds on him than he did when he played fucking George of the Jungle. Like, obviously, nobody's gonna have a six pack forever unless you're like the fucking $6 million man or whatever the hell that is. Like, nobody's gonna look like sculpted and amazing forever. Like, that's not feasible. That's not possible. Like, I'm going off on a weird little thing here and I can't really form words correctly because I get so heated when I hear people talk down about celebrities just in general, but mainly celebrities that I like and I love and I find attractive, that are like not the conventional version of what people would think is attractive. Like, I personally think that Kevin James is one of my biggest celebrity crushes. And you want to know why? Number one, he looks phenomenal. Like, his face, I don't know what it is about his face, but I just find him so handsome. But the main thing is his personality. He is so funny. He is so kind. He's so witty. Like, and that just makes all the difference. Like, I'm already physically attracted to him, and he's a primary example of, you don't need to be like, you don't need to have a sculpted body. You don't need to be like stereotypically thin to be attractive. No, like, Kevin James has a stockier build. Like, he's a bigger guy, and I personally find him so attractive. So, hop off. And the same can be said for Brendan Fraser. Like, he is one of the purest, nicest, sweetest people in Hollywood that I've seen. Obviously, I don't know him, but like anything that I've seen or heard of or about him has been nothing but good, nothing but like rave reviews for lack of a better phrase. I have not heard a bad thing about Brendan Fraser. And just the way that he presents himself and how humble he seems and just how sweet, and he's witty too, you know? Like if you've seen him in interviews recently, like he can throw a joke or two, he could take a joke or two, like just the way that he carries himself, like that makes him so phenomenally attractive to me. And you can't convince me otherwise. So that's my little bit on Brendan Fraser. I think he's so attractive, and if you don't, well, then that sucks. Oh, the one that was on my list that I actually just completely forgot about from my phone, that I know is going to just get a bunch of people mad at me probably, is the fact that I don't get the hype around Chapel Roan. I really don't. Like, her song Pink Pony Club is an earworm in like a bad way for me. The first few times that I heard it, I'm like, okay, yeah, yeah, this is catchy, like Pink Pony Club, like this is okay, that's kind of this is fun. But then it got stuck just on the chorus. And I've tried listening to her other music, and while it is good and I appreciate who he and while I appreciate who she is and what she stands for and the fact that she is a very, very, very talented person, I'm not saying that she's not. She is super talented in a lot of respects. I just don't get it. Like I said, I've tried listening to her music and it's just not for me. In the same way that I love K-pop and K-pop is just not for a lot of people. Like they don't understand it. They can't grasp why people like it. And I know that and I respect that. I don't say anything against it or about it. I just go about my life. I go on with my life loving K-pop and simping over K-pop, and I do me the same way people who love and simp over Chapel Roan, they do them. Except for like I feel like when I say that I don't like and can't get into Chapel Roan, I literally feel like people will be coming after me with pitchforks because that's just how cancel culture is nowadays, and it's so toxic and sad and scary. Um, but yeah. No disrespect to her. Again, I don't wish anything bad on her. She's, I'm sure, a great person, and she, like I said, is very talented. I just don't like her. I can't really understand why people do. But my distaste, I guess, for her is not nearly to the level of Timothy Chalamet. I don't think my distaste for hardly anybody will ever be that high. But yeah. Now to go from the dislike end of things to the love end of things, um, I think that Robert Pattinson is one of the best actors working in Hollywood right now, and has been for a number of years, actually. I'm not talking about the Twilight movies, which that's saying something because I'm a huge Twilight fan. Like, I literally have a Twilight themed tattoo. Like, I have the tall, like, Washington trees or whatever. I literally have, like, the trees from Twilight on my arm, and, like, Twilight is literally one of my favorite movie franchises of all time. I'm such a twihard. Like, it's it's almost on par with my love for Harry Potter, maybe even surpassing it, I don't know. But just know that I love Twilight so much. But I can also say that the Twilight movies aren't that amazing. You know, like they're those types of movies that are like cringe, but in like a good way, and they're like kind of bad, but in like a great way. And they have so much rewatch value, and actually like they just get better as they go on. And for what they are and what they from what they were based on, which is literally fan fiction essentially, they're so good. They're just, I don't know, they're just my comfort movies, you know? And so I'm not talking about Robert Pattinson from his Twilight days. Like even Robert Pattinson himself, like in just like multiple interviews, he said this so many times. Like he does not like the Twilight series. Like he hates on it, I think more than like actual haters do. Like nobody hates Robert or nobody hates Twilight more than Robert Pattinson hates Twilight. So like I'm fine in saying that like they're not that great, but they're also phenomenal, you know what I'm saying? But no, when I say that he is one of the best actors working in Hollywood right now, I really mean it because he has such a wide, like he has such a wide range of stuff that he does, and he can transform himself so well. He can like melt into any character that you give him. Like he can go from being Batman to being the Heron in the Blue Heron, the new like I think the newest Studio Ghibli movie. If you haven't heard him in that voice acting role, you will be shocked to hear that that is actually him. Because the first time that I heard that and I found out that he voiced the Heron, I'm like, you're fucking joking me. It it blew my mind. And then you go from that to the devil the devil all the way down or the devil all the time. I can't really remember what it was called. It's a very interesting movie title, but it's on Netflix. It's starring him and Tom Holland and a number of other like big actors. That movie was so phenomenal. And the fact that this British man was able to put on a super like high pitched, very convincing Southern accent and play like this evil preacher in this movie. Whereas I had only previously seen him in like Twilight and Harry Potter. I was shook beyond belief. And there are a number of his movies that I haven't seen yet, like Tenet or The Lighthouse, like, and all I've heard have been like astounding, like amazing reviews. All I've heard have been just like A plus reviews from those movies, mainly focusing on his acting. So I really do think that he is one of the best actors working in Hollywood nowadays, purely for the fact that he is so versatile and he can transform himself based on whatever you give him, and he is willing to take on any challenge. It's so he's so good. He's oh my gosh. And like do I think he's absolutely hot and sexy like I did back in the Twilight days? Even more so probably now? Absolutely. He is one of my biggest celebrity crushes still to this day. Like I will forever love Robert Pattinson, I believe. Um, does that have any impact on, his acting ability or like why I think he's a good actor? Actually, no, because primarily for the reason of the Blue Heron or the Boy in the Heron. It's the Boy in the Heron, excuse me. Primarily for that reason, you don't see his face. It's an animated movie, but he is able to camouflage his voice and just transform into a completely different entity for that movie. And it's so phenomenal to hear. And it's like jaw dropping how good he is. He's scary good. He will take on anything you throw at him. And yes, he's had his duds in the past. Like, Remember Me wasn't the greatest. And, Water for Elephants, although I did read the book and I did actually like the movie a lot. Water for Elephants wasn't one of his greatest. Obviously, there's Twilight, which was like most notably like one of the movies or like the movie series that he doesn't like the most out of his career, from what I've gathered. So, yes, he's had his flops, but like he has had way more successes than he has had flops. And I can't wait to see what he does in the future. I'm actually really excited to see that new movie that he did with Bong Joon-ho, the director, either the director or the producer of Parasite. He did a new movie with him called Mickey 17. I'm so excited to see that because like Bong Joon-ho and Robert Pattinson bringing two of my loves together, Asian media, specifically Korean media, and Robert Pattinson, recipe for success in my opinion. And from like early reviews and like early things that I've heard, it's a great movie. So I'm super excited to see that. Oh, this is an interesting one. Okay. So, okay. Like I said, I looked up like hot takes on the internet because I just, when I am like sat down and asked a question or like pressured to answer a question, all of my knowledge and know-how just goes out the fucking window. Like mind blank. I can't think of anything. So like doing this solo cast like on the fly and just coming up with, oh yeah, I'll just talk about hot takes and then having to like hurry and come up with a list. I was like, I could only think of like five. So I looked up a list. And so this one, 90s kids didn't have the best TV. Early 2000s kids did. And I actually like a part of me was like, ugh, absolutely not. What are you talking about? But no, I actually kind of agree because as a 90s kid, technically, I was born in 96. As a 90s kid, the majority of media that I watched growing up that I remember was early 2000s. I mean, granted there were still shows from the 1990s that were being like rerun or they were still like on TV, and I was still getting a good amount of 90s media brought to me or like put before me. But the majority of media that I did consume was early 2000s, obviously. Like um Blues Clues, fucking that's the only one I can come up with right now. What the heck? No, like Blues Clues, like Avatar: The Last Airbender, all of the good Nick shows like Jimmy Neutron, Fairly Odd Parents, the Disney shows. Oh my gosh, the Disney shows, Kim Possible, That's So Raven, Lizzie McGuire. Um I could keep listing shows and movies from Disney and Nick specifically because those were the main two that I watched. I could keep listing forever about all those shows they that essentially like raised me, which maybe explains why I'm so fucked up. But that's another story. But yeah, like there were so many good shows in the early 2000s that I can think of and list that I absolutely loved, whereas there are only like I can maybe only count on like maybe one or like maybe two hands, but mostly probably one hand, the amount of shows from the 90s that I can be like, "Oh my God, yeah, that was the best." But because like I didn't the majority of the beginning of my life, number one, I don't remember. So like the first like 3, 4 years of my life, I don't remember just because I just don't have memories from back then. My brain just kind of erased them. I don't know. The only memory that I have, I think, from like the age of 4 and before was like when I got a stitch in my forehead because I banged my head on the side of the driveway. That's literally like one of the only things I can remember from my childhood. And maybe that's why I can't remember shit because I banged my fucking head on the side of the driveway. But yeah, so it probably has to do with the fact that I can't really remember anything from the first 4 years of my childhood. That I agree with this, that early 2000s TVs had the best shows. But I really think I really agree with that. Like, yes, there were some shows like I don't know, like Full House, and that's the only one I can think of at this point that started in the 90s. Actually, I think Full House started in like 89, if I'm not mistaken. But either way, I digress. Early 2000s shows were just phenomenal. Disney and Nick specifically. And I'm sure that I'm actually in the majority when I say that the quality of programming on Disney and Nick, and just for kids in general, like not even just specifically relegated to Disney and Nick, but just kids programming in general, has gotten way, it's gotten weird. It's not good anymore. It's not super like, it's gotten too wholesome. Does that make sense? Like, I feel like people are so afraid of bringing up so many topics in media. Sorry, there was a fire engine going past my house. But no, so many people are afraid to bring up so many different topics nowadays that it's just kids' media is just saturated with a bunch of like, for lack of a better word right now, fluff. Like, and I mean, granted, some of the shows from back in the early 2000s or like even the late 90s, like some of that stuff maybe should have not been on TV. Like maybe that's why some of us are as messed up as we are. But also, like, it just seems the media nowadays just seems so 2D, not 2D. It seems so like surface level. Like there's not a whole lot of like underlying like deep meanings, and there's not a whole lot of like just depth in general in the programming, if that makes sense. Maybe I'm just talking in circles here, but I feel like they focus t TV shows and production companies are focusing more on keeping your attention by having like the best graphics and the best visuals and like super fast and super like things that change a lot, because our attention spans have gotten worse as the years have gone on, and kids' attention spans have gotten like drastically worse as the years have gone on, mainly because of like phones and iPads and social media. And so they're really just grasping at straws here to try and keep your attention with anything that they can. And so they're not trying to focus on like a really like thought out, like super detailed story, whereas they're just trying to focus on, okay, let's just throw a bunch of shit at these kids to keep their attention so that they'll watch our stuff. And like a primary example of that is SpongeBob. Like SpongeBob from the beginning, I think it started in 99. So SpongeBob from like 1999 to I'd say maybe like 2010, 2000 like 14 maybe. That was like the good era of SpongeBob. Like that was when SpongeBob was like actually funny and good and quotable, and just it actually had some stories, albeit it's about a sponge and a starfish and an octopus. Like clearly they're not like super like dramatic, real life problem stories. Like obviously there's still nonsensical stories, but at least they were like more fleshed out plot lines. Whereas now, the SpongeBob of now is literally just like, let's throw everything we can. Like, here's a fart joke. Here's a stupid looking character. Here's blah blah blah. Here's this and that and this and that and this and that. And everything changes every 2 seconds. And the jokes are so stupid because they've already been done, so they're being rewritten where they don't make sense. And everything is just so, it's too much. So like shows nowadays, kids shows nowadays are just not as good because they're primarily focused on keeping attention versus putting out thoughtful and thought-provoking and like and like captivating storylines and captivating content, you know? And like Disney, like live action, like there's also something to be said about like cartoon versus live action. I feel like there have been so many storylines, or like there have been so many different ideas that have already been done for certain shows, that they're also really grasping at straws now to be like, what's a new concept that we can pitch a show for, like that hasn't already been done. And also like the actors that made up our childhood, they've gotten older, so they've started to take like older, more mature, more provocative in sometimes roles. So now they're bringing in this new crop of people that were just like, it's that whole thing of like, we don't like change. We like things to be the same, like how we know them. We like that, and it's like our comfort thing. So like they're bringing in all of these new faces and these new actors and actresses, and we're all just like, oh, that's weird. And so that's already affecting our perception of these shows. And then the fact that they're just so surface level, that it's also adding to it. Like we're never gonna have another Raven. We're never gonna have another like Miley Cyrus. We're never gonna have another like Lizzie McGuire, Hilary Duff. We're never gonna have that again, and that's really sad to think about. But yeah. I think I'm kind of just like spewing out word vomit at this point, but my entire point being that I really do agree with and feel like the early 2000s, probably from like 2000 to like maybe 2008 to 2010, that was like the golden age of kids media, in my opinion. And I feel like a lot of people would agree with me on that. Like TV nowadays is just it's so overdone and so oversaturated, and I feel so sad, and I feel like yeah, I feel so like kind of sad that like the kids nowadays aren't getting to, I mean, unless their parents show them, in which case like good on those parents, like those are the cool parents, but they're not getting to experience all this stuff that we did, and these shows that like shaped who we are, and they're having to be subjected to all of this like basically nonsense. Like, I feel sad about that. But just know that in the future, should I ever have children, I will be that mom who sits my kids down in front of the TV. Not all the time, because like blah, 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 screen time, blah, 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 like come at me, whatever. I digress. I will be that mom who, when my kid watches TV, they are going to be watching the shows that I watched, intermixed with intermixed with some current media that I deem okay. Because like I'll have a look at it first and be like, oh my God, that's absolutely like brain rot trash. And if that's the case, I won't have them watch it. But I will have them watch like Blue's Clues. I'll have them watch like Avatar The Last Airbender. I'll have them watch like Lilo and Stitch. I will have them watch those before anything, you know? And I don't know, maybe that's not the way to go about it, but that's just what I would like to do and I'm probably gonna do. So come at me if you want to for that. Not gonna phase me. Um, yeah, so I've already been talking for like an hour and 15 minutes. Um, it's weird, talking to yourself for almost an hour and a half, but it's kind of cathartic and it feels good, just to get my opinion out there. And yeah, yeah, this was a good way to spend an hour and a half of my Saturday night. Otherwise, I was just gonna mindlessly watch YouTube or like scroll through TikTok. So I'd rather be using my time right now to entertain you guys, whoever chooses to listen and or watch. Thank you so much for doing so. Thank you for thank you for being so supportive of me and Sarah and our channel and our podcast. For all you returning listeners, thank you so much. We really appreciate your love and support. And if you're new and this is your first time, hey, how's it going? I'm usually with my co-host Sarah. I decided to do a solo cast tonight because Sarah had another obligation that she had to take care of. So I just hopped on here just to chat with everybody. Um, it will not be like this all the time, so you don't have to worry. You won't have to listen to my just ramblings all the time. But yeah, thank you to those of you who have tuned in and who continue to tune in to Girl What. I know that we're still just starting out and we're still, kind of getting our bearings, but thank you for going along on the ride with us and being our sense of support and being part of our little family that we have started to create. I know I personally love getting to do this because as you may have realized, I love to talk. And while I don't necessarily like to talk because I like the sound of my own voice, in fact, I find my voice kind of annoying. I just love to talk because I have a lot to say and I just want to make it known. And yeah, so I love doing this for everybody, and I know I can speak for Sarah when saying that she loves doing this too. It's just a huge passion of both of ours, and I'm so glad that we get to do it finally. I'm glad that I took the plunge to start this podcast, and I hope to continue on for a long, 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 long time. This podcast will be up. I'm not exactly sure when because this was a very spur of the moment solo cast. I'm not exactly sure when I'm going to upload this. It depends on when I edit it. It could be up tonight. It could be up 2 weeks from now. Who knows? I could never post it. I don't know. But yeah, I'm rambling, so I'm going to hop off for the night. But thank you so much for listening, and I hope everybody has a great night. Bye bye.